All right, we are back with another special edition for you. Our special guest hails all the way around the globe. We are talking Zurich, Switzerland. Please welcome Regina Brury of Ask Robin. Thank you so much for
Thanks for
joining
having
us.
me today. Hey, it's really exciting to be here.
From Hollywood to Zurich, I've flown that flight, Swiss Air, right into
Absolutely. You took a
beautiful.
long flight there.
It is a long flight, but I was prepared for it. Some
Okay.
people that don't travel much have a real problem with 12, 13, 14-hour flights. To me, hey, it's what is required. How can you land in Zurich if you don't take that long flight?
That's it. I mean, and if you have good music, then you're set for the flight.
That's it. You're enjoying yourself. I would rather fly one flight and land in Zurich than to fly and then have to stop in New York and then change over and then fly again. Just give me one flight. I don't sleep too much on the flights, but like you say, good music, a little drink, maybe some food, we're good.
Yeah, but that's a heads out then to the Swiss airline, to do a route directly from Zurich to Los Angeles so that we can do a concert there also.
There we
Say,
go.
hey, take us directly there, new route.
I get off the plane in Zurich. I have some nice Swiss chocolate, and I'm ready to
Absolutely.
go. It's fantastic. So now tell us about your background. At what age did you start getting really, really excited about music, and who were some of those artists?
Hey, it's actually an interesting story. I was born and grew up in Brazil, actually.
That's
Um,
right.
I've been here in Switzerland for 7 years. But since I know myself, so from 3 years old, I was already playing guitar. It's my first instrument. And as soon as I turned 11, I started doing shows. And my background was always the rock, the punk rock, at the time, the Green Day, the Blink 182, the
Uh-huh.
Avril Lavigne, of course, and Pink. And this is the type of music I was already listening to in Brazil. And this is not a typical Brazilian music. I wasn't doing samba, it was not typical Brazilian music or funk music. Um,
Yes.
and then I had my first band as a drummer, actually. And in that band, we were already playing the style of music that I play today in Switzerland. The good twist is, though, I had the plan to come to Europe and do this music here because I knew in Brazil I was just going to be, another one. And here it could be something different. What happened in that story, though, is I left the band, and the singer is now the number one artist in Brazil. So he's like one of the top 100 global, even. So he did break through in Brazil, which is really exciting. Matue is his name. And I came to Europe to start building here. Um, so I went from Brazil straight away to England first to study music. And there is where I recorded my first song. I did let's say, an exchange year for high school there in England. And the moment I landed back in Brazil with my first single, and it was anyways, in the pop rock scene, the National Team magazine found me somehow from YouTube, or I don't know. And they did an interview, and from there, I exploded in Brazil. So it was like the newest teen star kind of Brazil. And then life changed, and that's where I had the opportunity to play everywhere in Brazil, and in the whole teen scene, and always with the pop rock. But being an artist in Brazil is totally different than in Europe, in Switzerland. So probably it's very similar to America. It influences your private life a lot, like your family, your friends, everybody kind of gets involved in this whole bubble.
Yes.
um and then I decided to say, okay, I knew anyways that the style I wasn't doing wasn't the perfect fit for the market in Brazil, and I had connections in Switzerland already. So I said, okay, I'm moving to Switzerland to start building from here. So I did the move, which was style wise perfect, but I couldn't speak German or Swiss German, and I tell you, it's a very difficult language to learn. um and very important for music, because even if you sing in English, which is actually what we do now with the band, to connect with the audience here, you need to speak their own language.
Wow.
So I went that road, and then learned the German, moved to Zurich last year. First I was in the countryside, and I said, look, I know that the punk rock, the pop rock from the 2000s, so this style is coming again very strong now this year, next year. I'm writing an EP, but going back to my roots when I was a teenager, the type of music that I wanted to play back then, and I'm bringing an album exactly in that style for the people like me that enjoy this type of music. And then we brought the My Callback, which was the first single that we released now in May, and we did not expect in like even before the release, we had the radios, the big radios in Switzerland interested because they were really excited. We said, hey, it's like a punk rock, Avril Lavigne style. We're pushing the whole women empowerment. That's why I'm dressed as a racer also.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, I mean, within the first 3 weeks, we reached like 7 countries and more than 20 radios, which was crazy as an independent artist.
That's fantastic. The single is My Callback. And coming out of Zurich, of course, you have the great countries throughout Europe and internationally. I do know most people in Germany, though, do speak English because I've traveled many times to Germany and I speak a very little German, but you can get by because they teach English in school. So
Yeah.
in the big cities, you have no problem if you don't speak German in Germany.
Absolutely. And that's true. The only thing there is the German music market is very strong. They play a lot of English spoken music in Germany, but
Yes.
their German music is very strong. They have also very good pop and rock German music. And to kind of compete with this market, bring in the English, it's not the same one. It's not the same audience that you're reaching out to. But to talk to the people, of course, English, especially in the bigger cities like Berlin and Munich, you have absolutely no problem. And they are passionate about music, the Germans.
Oh, yeah. I always say that, outside of America and Canada, you know, um, the Germans are probably easily one of the most passionate countries for our music. And the music, of course, that comes from England, that obviously speaks English already, but for being a country that their common language is German, they love English sung music. So it's very, very exciting. But now tell us a little bit about how you first started hearing, the Avril Lavigne's and Pink's and Blink 182. Was it from records or was it online or how did you hear this music?
Hey, it's a good question actually because you mentioned Germany, Brazil. We absolutely love English music, even though that we don't speak the language. So it's really common that people think, oh, this is a ballad, a romantic music. It's actually a breakup song, and they use as love and romance music because they don't know the language. So, being in Brazil, my parents, I grew up listening to this type of music. And at the time, it was very early on. We had the MTV. It was the only music channel that was. And when I was a kid, they were playing. That's when Skater Boy came. That's when Pink was in the highest. And the whole Blink 182 also. That's the clips, the music clips that used to come when I was a teenager. And that's all I could listen to. We didn't have, we had dialed internet even, so I couldn't go on YouTube at the time and listen to this kind of stuff. It was just really MTV and the radios really played the pop ranks from America. And I found I was learning electric guitar. I saw how they were dressed, that they were more like unusual. She was very like a skater girl, and I thought that was so cool. And I was like, okay, that's the type of music that I want to make.
Well, that's very, very exciting. Of course, being in California, that's where Pink comes from, Blink 182 and Green Day, and so much of the pop rock, pop punk, energetic music comes from. I was involved with the Warp Tour for 20 years, and so many of these artists got their popularity by being out on the Warp Tour, where there's like 80 artists on 8 stages all day long in the middle of the summer.
Yeah,
So very, very exciting.
that's
Now,
crazy.
I know that you have it's called Ask Robin. That's the
Mhm.
name of your group. How did you come up with that? Why Regina Brewery and Ask Robin?
Hey, before we were only called Ask Robin, but we decided this year to do a rebranding for a very specific but important reason. So my band, we have almost a 30-year age difference. So I'm the youngest one in the band, and I was already a professional artist before we started the band in Brazil. and they are a fully Swiss band actually. And there, because we know from the strategy, well, I don't know how long the band will still exist, if it's going to be 5 years, if it's going to be 10 years. This we don't know. And for this reason, we thought, okay, I have way bigger goals than the other band members, of course, because of the age difference. Um, and we decided to rebrand and put my name also not in the front, let's say, because I would like to continue and travel more, even go to America and play. And they are kind of slowing down in that sense. They still want to do the cool shows here, Switzerland and Europe and so. But I would say my dreams and goals to go with the music are way bigger and go way further than they're willing to. And that's why we changed to my name plus the Ask Robin, like kind of Florence and the Machine. That was the idea.
Yeah, it makes sense. You can always spin off and just be Regina Burry at any time. Very, very exciting stuff. And besides these artists that you were influenced by, what artist do you hear today that speaks to you?
Oh, that's a good question. Hey, I am really inspired by this guy that I was in the band with. He's now the number one Brazilian, not because of the music only, but because of the journey he took. So he built really from a town where we come from, where music is not strong. It's not Rio de Janeiro, it's not São Paulo. And he built from the ground, literally a music empire. He has billions of streams, all built, from the ground. From America, I actually found a really cool band. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called The Paradox. And
Right.
they're like the new Blink 182 kind of from style. Reminds me of the things I used to hear. So I liked it very much. Plus, I know the guys I liked in the past. So I know Avril just released a new song with Simple Plan again. They're going on tour. And I think that's super cool. Even though they bring in new music as the same artists we liked in the past, and I like the vibe of, I notice this a lot here in Switzerland. The older you get in the music industry, your value kind of decreases, and they're bringing this back. No matter the career that you choose, um, as the years go by, it's not the end of the tunnel. If you're still good, if you still have the drive and the energy, you can still bring it out, and people will come with you.
And Regina, what advice do you give to a young person that's excited about music? They sing along with the music they play, and they might want to follow in your path to become a singer or a writer or performer. What advice do you tell them?
Hey, what I learned over the years, I think the first thing I would tell them is really learn what the music business is about. Because when I was 16, when I was at 18, and that's when it exploded for me at the time, I just wanted to sing and do my shows and play for the people. And I had no idea how this works, how a manager works, about your streams, and how does the touring works. And I think when you don't understand the business, you have a misconception on what it is like, and you can get tricked really fast. You can get your dreams broken, or you can get misused. And so in this case, I would say, hey, be an artist, do your music, but learn what the profession artist is like too, so you can innovate also and bring new stuff for the people.
And I wish you the best of luck with the single and upcoming singles that you have. We look forward to your maiden journey to Hollywood. Will be with welcoming arms when you do finally make it here. And interesting point, I see your release party, your album release party is essentially my birthday. My birthday's September 5, but it's September
Really?
4. So at midnight at Club Bellevue, Zurich, you can do a toast to me, to J Rock in Hollywood on my birthday. So we love the that time of the year. And of course, I share a birthday with Freddie Mercury from Queen, one of the
Oh my
all
God.
all time all time singers. So we wish you best of luck at Club Bellevue in
Hey,
Zurich.
thank you very much. I'll actually send you a video from the Bellevue in our release party for your birthday. And the album comes out on the 5th. So we do a
Oh,
pre-release kind of party. So you have the album as a present for your birthday.
Wow. Well, we can't thank you enough. We do look forward to speaking to you again soon, following the course of your career and success. And we know great things are going to be happening. So, Regina Brewery of Ask Robin, the special guest here on Pop Music Universe, and we can't wait to follow up with you. So, until then, best of luck, and we'll do a toast on the birthday for the new album. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.